movement and silliness and those kinds of things just help to reset that vagus nerve and your system and get it back together again.
Welcome, mustard seeds, to the nest of tranquility. I am Gavin Daniels.
I am Shannon Marie Berry, and this is You Know Me. Hey, Gavin.
Hey, Shannon Marie.
You just said mustard seeds.
I did.
What does that mean?
Well, Jesus talks about them. Faith as small as a mustard seed.
Oh.
And with our willet mustards as well.
Mm-hmm.
We have been trying to think of a name to call our listeners, our friends, our watchers, whatever platform you're on, just as a way to address folks.
Sure.
And after a conversation with students, with some friends and some faculties, we came up with the idea that we are going to call our audience mustard seeds. So if you're a listener, you are now officially, or a watcher, you are officially a mustard seed. So, shout out to you. Thanks for tuning in. But when we say hello, mustard seeds, we are talking to you. And also, I need to apologize to the crowd.
What for?
I need to apologize to all mustard seeds. I'm not good with microphones. And so if you were listening in the first 3 to 4 episodes and you're like, I wish Gavin would talk up or talk loud or speak up. I didn't have the microphone close enough to my face, mainly because I didn't know what to do with the microphone.
You talk into it.
Well, I know, but I thought I was close enough, but it's because my voice was loud in my headphones. So I thought that it was loud in the system and it wasn't. So we've done some things. Well, I'm not going to say we because I was not a part of it. Others have done some things to change the gains and whatnots to make sure if I'm not close enough to the mic, they can up it. But I'm very well aware that I was not close enough to the mic, so I apologize, and I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to do better.
Well, that's grace, right?
Yeah, and learning and
Sure.
Yeah, just I'm being better.
You're doing better. You're doing great, Gavin.
Yes. Today's word of the day.
Today's word of the day is verisimilitude.
I was saying that wrong.
How are you saying it?
Verisimilitude.
Well, there's an extra I, so it is spelled.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Verisimilitude.
Lots of I's.
Well, there's a lot of vowels. For every consonant, there is a vowel.
Verisimilitude.
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 And what is the definition? I've already forgotten it from where I Googled it the other day.
So verisimilitude is the idea of creating within art and literature, movies, those kinds of things, an appearance of it being authentic, being real, instead of it just looking, you present something and say, this is it. You cause that feeling and that emotion to actually feel authentic in that world.
So is it like Tolkien creating the Elven language? Is that an example?
I mean, I suppose it could be. But I'm not sure it is.
Okay, give me a practical example.
So if you've got well, Lord, this one is hard. Why'd I choose this one as our word of the day? All right, so
I saw there was a reference to Harry Potter, but I don't know Harry Potter. well.
So that won't work for you either.
Well, I mean, I could understand it.
Sure. So let's go with, I'm just going to bring up our real help here. Authors use specific sensory details to make fiction believable, describing the specific make, model, and condition of a car. Well, I would say, yeah. Bringing you into Lord of the Rings and bringing you into that world and creating a whole world that feels very, very real.
So is it more books or movies or both?
It can be any of those
Okay.
things. In film, a fight scene set in a rainy, dark alley using lighting to make the environment feel real. In literature, a historical novel that researches the 18th century language to make the character dialogue sound authentic. Gaming and art, video games where textures, lights, shadows, surfaces look exactly like they would in a real world.
Virtual reality.
Sometimes virtual reality doesn't really feel real.
Verisimilitude.
Lack of
Reality.
verisimilitude, if you want to hear a lack of, a film character who miraculously survives an impossible, ridiculous amount of danger in a single day, breaking the audience trust in the story's reality. Thank you, Cambridge Dictionary, for your
James
assistance
Bond.
today. No. I don't know that I like that, though, because I love James Bond films.
What about, what's that one? Die Hard.
Die Harder?
Well, like,
Die
first movie,
Hardest?
John McClane is like just a normal dude. Then it's like ridiculous later down the road.
Yeah, I think once you keep moving it on to further ridiculousness.
The Fast and Furious franchise.
Well, I have not been fast nor furious at the same time. So I would say that is probably, yeah. When
Maybe
it just
not
keeps
so much
going
in the
and going
early
and going.
days, but like once you got to like as many as there are. I don't know the dozen that they're on now.
They keep releasing more and more.
Yeah, they're getting faster and more furious. Furiouser.
Well, how fast can you go till you can't go fast anymore?
Speed of light.
Well, then they're done.
But you can go faster than the speed of light.
No, that's faster than a speeding bullet.
You can go faster than the speed of light.
Is that when the boom happens?
I don't know. We're not physicists.
Oh boy, friends, you're in for a real treat. I don't know where this is going in the episode. Kit, bless your heart. Yeah, verisimilitude.
Good word. Good word.
Thanks. So, Gavin, what are we going to talk about today?
Today we are going to, last episode we dove into like my specialty / area of passion within ministry. And today we are going to do the same for you. And we're going to dive into, your area of specialty and passion and, and that's ACEs and Resiliency.
Yeah, so I'm going to begin by just saying to all of our mustard seeds out there that some of the content that we may discuss today may be very sensitive. If you have walked through this life and experienced things as children that we fall within what we call the ACEs, Adverse Childhood Experiences. And if you have ever experienced abuse of the sexual nature, I want you to know that I understand. And you may choose to skip over this episode, and that's okay. And if you find that this conversation brings up things for you that perhaps you haven't dealt with or you thought you had dealt with, because they honestly never go away, that Gavin and I are both trauma-informed in the work that we do. Gavin is an awesome listener, and I'd like to think that I am as well. And we want to offer to you that if you find that you need someone to talk to, please let us know. We have resources available for anybody that may find that they need to spend some time processing things that perhaps they didn't realize they were carrying in their bodies, or if they just need a refresher course, because sometimes we need that too.
Mm-hmm.
So this is our air date for this is April 29th of 2026, and April is Child Abuse Awareness Month.
Yeah.
And here at the University of Mount Olive, we have the beautiful opportunity to work beside the Child Advocacy Center at here in Mount Olive, which is a part of ECU Health, where their primary focus is working with children who have experienced things in their lives that they're entirely too young to process mentally that may have occurred to them along the way. If you all have been driving anywhere, I mean, because it's all throughout the United States, and seen the blue pinwheels spinning,
Mm-hmm.
those blue pinwheels is a reminder to us that April is Child Abuse Awareness Month.
And along with that, our social work program and I believe our psychology department as well has been doing some things. I remember back when I was still at the children's home, we
Yeah.
always did some trainings and things when during this month we placed a little blue pinwheels around our campus just to remind folks, this is what this month is and Child Abuse Prevention Month. And as far as we may feel like we are from it, we're really all not that far from that going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And child abuse and ACEs are not just the sexual assaults that one would think about, but ACEs are adverse childhood experience that occurred in your home. They can be a variety of things. If your parents were divorced while you were a child, that would give you an ACE score of 1. So what happens is there is kind of
It's like 10 of them.
there's a quiz. It depends on which one you're using, but there's like a quiz. And did you experience this? Did you experience this? Did you experience this? And it just kind of lists them. But they could be anything from, was there fighting in your home? Like, and we're not talking like mom and dad got into an argument. We're talking about big things. Did you have enough food? Did you have enough clean clothes? Did one of your parents were they in jail?
Mental disorders.
Mental disorders. Did they have diagnosed or undiagnosed mental health issues that adversely affected your world?
Did you lose a parent?
Did you lose a parent? Absolutely.
Natural disasters.
Yes, natural disasters can definitely bring them in. So it's just a scale to help mental health individuals and caregivers just kind of know where are we on the spectrum. And within the world of ACEs, there are techniques to give us the opportunity to teach the children sooner rather than later so that their bodies can process those big things that happen to them that they may not even have words for. And that's called resiliency. And resiliency is though it is this idea that there are things we can do to help retrain our brain and give us outlets along the way. And I've got great resources that I use. Resources for Resiliency out of Western North Carolina is a great organization. Lean into them very, very heavily for the work that they have. I could do this for days and hours, and it is part of the work I do. But some of my favorite ones to do is humming. Did you know that when you hum, your brain can't think of anything else as you're humming?
I did not know that.
Absolutely. Humming is a technique that literally you can't have all the rest of the world going on in your head
Hmm.
while you're humming. There's also breathing techniques, box breathing. It's a very simple one, and I'll teach that to you now. So, what we do is we inhale for 4, we hold for 4, we exhale for 4, we hold for 4. So, let's try that real quick. So, blow it all out. Inhale for 4, hold 2, 3, 4, exhale, hold 2, 3, 4. And you just do that over and over again. There are different types of breathing techniques that are available to do that. There's like do heavy work, push on a wall,
Yeah.
literally touch grass. The young people these days, when they say touch grass, no, literally go touch grass. Take off your shoes, take off your socks, touch grass. I had a situation occur with we'll call him my godson, and he was just having a moment, and I literally took him outside, made him take off his shoes and socks. He thought Shmee was nuts, and have a dance party. And I turned on 2 turntables and a microphone because it's a long song, in case you didn't know. And it just movement and silliness and those kinds of things just help to reset that vagus nerve
Yeah.
in your system and get it back together again. Now it's time for Gavin's 15. Hey, Gavin,
Hey,
what's up today?
my 15 today is going to be something that's near and dear to my heart, and really it's near and dear to anyone who holds a valid driver's license. It may not be near and dear to your heart, but it's
near your hands.
it's near your hands, and guess what? It's near your wheel. For decades now, vehicles have come with this really great technology called a turn signal.
Oh, boy.
And there are few things in this world that I am more passionate about than properly using and utilizing your turn signal. And it drives me nuts when people don't be using their turn signal. And especially as much driving as we do all over the state and to random places that we go to meet with clergy and churches, you get just an array of drivers. And I can't stand when folks don't use their turn signals. Just drives me.
What about, dude, you have to use them every time.
Yes, you should. If you are on the road,
Mm-hmm.
you should use your turn signal.
Lane changes?
Lane changes, yes. Especially because that's dangerous if you don't. If you just in and out of lanes.
You know, on 117, before we've hit the official 795, going out of Goldsboro.
Yep.
And we're going to head north on 117.
Uh-huh.
And you've got that Goldsboro kind of turn off curvy thing. How many times have you watched somebody go from this left lane to the furthest left lane to decide they needed to go off into the right-hand lane?
Poor planning on your part does not constitute me slamming on the brakes in an emergency on my part.
But
I have to. Or when you're sitting at an intersection, a two-way stop, and somebody's just coming down the road, and then you're like, oh, well, don't know what I'm supposed to, like, let me just wait for all the traffic to pass, and then folks just start turning, and nobody used a turn signal.
Right.
And it's like, oh, thank you so much for wasting my time.
It's my understanding that there are certain states in this here union of states called MERCA that there are states that don't have turn signals in their cars.
Just because they don't use them? Well, I was told one time, so a friend of mine, his cousin used to play for the Yankees, and we were talking about what it's like driving in New York City, and he's like, you don't use turn signals because if you let people know where you're going, they're not going to let you get over. And I was like, that's just a courteous thing to do.
You've never been to India, have you?
No, I have not, but I know
Oh, you
exactly.
want to talk about an experience.
Yes.
Coming, going, in, out, sideways.
Yep.
They use their horn to honk, not because they're rude, but they're just letting you know that they're up
Yep.
beside you. There's nothing more jarring. When we touched down in India and Chennai, got out of the airport, it had been a long, long, long travel. Got on a bus. There were 2 buses of us students together. I look out the window and there is a family of 6 on a motorcycle
Mm-hmm.
that are just riding up
Yep.
beside you. And then there's rickshaws that come in and
Mm-hmm.
out and dart around. And there's really no this way or that way.
Yep.
It's all way,
Yep.
always.
Yep. Well, that's and my no there was not out of a no. I don't want to go. I would love to go to India, but
lovely.
it's more of a oh my goodness. I know exactly where you're going because like riding around Central America. I remember one time asking the question. So, what do people do? They said the only rule of the road is don't die. And I was like, you know what? I can see that. I see that very, very much so. But if I were law enforcement, which I'm not, and never will be, I would make it my career to just write tickets or
Is that, I mean, is it a law that you're supposed to
yeah, you
use your
can.
turn
It's
signal?
improper something.
Where's the general statute?
I don't know, but I would write tickets or warnings. I'd be pulling everybody over for not using a turn signal. That would be what I would be known for. We would have the cleanest turning in my area that I was enforcing.
Wow.
I just sit at intersections.
I'm absolutely not in disagreement with you about your desire and love of turn signals, because I too am a turn signal connoisseur and
Chicago's horrible
appreciate
too.
them. I didn't have to drive through
They're
Chicago. I had
just
somebody driving me.
all over the place in Chicago. I don't understand how those roads work.
They just do.
Sometimes. Yeah, that's my 15 today. If you got a turn signal, please use it. Be kind, be courteous. Let folks know where you're going.
So resiliencies, I do a lot of that work. And I offer myself, if you all are a church or a small group, women's group, men's group for that matter, and you just want somebody to come in and talk to you about those things, I am very willing to do it. But we have a lot of great students that can help do that too.
Yeah.
So ACEs and Resiliency, is there anything else that you would desire me to say about those things?
Can we dig in a little bit to you remember that ACES movie? Kind of the history behind it? Or like how they discovered this?
This is what I'm going to need you for.
Okay.
So, for those of you all that haven't picked up yet, I have PTSD, and my PTSD comes from a sexual assault that happened when I was a child. And because my body was young, my mind was young, and I didn't have the vocabulary for it, I am Dory. I have short-term memory loss. And my little guy in my head doesn't get to the cabinet in enough time. So, yes, there is a movie. Yes, I was there. But when I went to watch that movie the day we met, when we went to watch that movie, I was physically there, but I was not there.
Yeah.
So I would be very happy to pass this one off to you.
Okay.
And let you talk through the movie piece.
Okay. Well, correct me if anything I say is wrong.
Yes, sir.
So I don't remember the name of the movie, but through one of our Lilly Endowment grants, we've been able to do some training in ACEs and Resiliency. And there's a film that's about an hour long, but it was basically about what are ACEs and the history of ACEs and how they discovered that these were even a thing. And it basically was what I think in the 1980s, these couple of doctors, not even in the same clinic or anything, started noticing a lot of their adult female clients were coming in with obesity and food insecurities or eating disorders. And whenever they started to look into it, they started to find the common denominator of some sort of sexual assault as children.
Yes.
And as they kept looking into it, then they started finding there's more and more, like we were saying, with divorce, natural disasters, not having enough food as a child, mental health disorders in your parents. And that led these two doctors who were doing two completely different sets of study, I think it was, to all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is a real thing that's happening. And they ended up partnering with one another and discovering this whole thing, this litany of adverse childhood experiences that were causing these other factors. And that if your ACE score is if you have at least an ACE score of 3, what that does to drastically drop your life expectancy if you don't do the resiliency work early on. And I think my favorite piece of all of that, though, like, I mean, of course, to learn, like, oh, these things are happening. This is why you might see these. I'm trying to think of you might see this type of health in adulthood. While that is great in explanation, it's like, okay, but what do we do about it?
Yeah.
And they got to talking about this project, and I wish I could remember the name of the project. It's just been so long since I've seen the movie.
Sure.
But basically, where they created this fictitious character, and like they wrote a childhood story about, like a children's story about her, and it was a mom who had lost her child, and so then she stood by the schoolyard every day greeting children as they got off the bus to make those children feel loved. And then over time, those kids started seeing that mom as a safe figure, as someone they could share what their day was like or what it was like at home the night before. And then they turned that into a project where they would have the children themselves write letters to this fictitious mother. And it would be like, write a letter about what it was like at home last night or about your family. So you've got these like 5-year-old kids writing and writing these letters, drawing these pictures to this fictitious mom. And there's this whole group of people who are reading these letters and writing back to the children. And the schools that were implementing this, I don't remember the statistics specifically, but like the drastic decline they saw in fights
Yeah.
in their elementary school, the number of children that began passing their grades. They implemented some of these techniques in the high schools, and they went from having like over half the student body getting in fights every day or like throughout the school year to almost 0 fights from these students. And they started like in the 3rd grade, and they would watch these kids go mature through school and just how much things changed over time.
Their story changes.
Yeah, because they learn how to cope with instead of holding that stress, that fight or flight, they learn the resiliency to then be able to, when you're at school and somebody triggers you and maybe you are hungry because you didn't have enough food,
Right.
you might not snap instantly.
Right.
Or when the teacher calls your name and they say it a little too loud, not because they're mad at you, but just because they're getting your attention. And maybe you come out of an abusive home and you're used to hearing your name yelled in a bad manner. Maybe you don't fight back to your teacher or
Right.
freeze in shock.
Right.
And just how much that made sense of life, especially at the time I was working at the children's home.
Yeah.
And it made so much sense to me and helped shape how I was able to minister to those children and realize like, oh, this response is not because they're mad at me or somebody else. Like, there's literally all of these things that are going on and they're just trying to survive right now.
Yep.
And then epigenetics and all those things, trauma being passed down,
Yeah.
and how it's
Well,
breaking cycles.
in Bowen family system theory, which I consider myself a Bowen family system theorist, we lay out the genealogy of the family, but we do it differently. We look at when we build that chart was, when did they die? How did they die? We will look at, was there abuse? Was there divorce? Was there cutoff? Those types of things end up being part of the Bowen family system. It's not an Enneagram. Genogram, that's it.
Yeah, Geniogram.
When you do the genogram. And it definitely, especially in my own family, to watch the level of which the abuse took place and who it touched. And that instead of somebody being bold enough to say it has to stop, it was just passed down generationally. And watching even where older family members exist right now in their own story is, I think I'm good a lot of the time, but here lately it's been real heavy.
Yeah.
Because no matter how much work and no matter how much EMDR, which is a great process, and we'll talk about that another day, but no matter how much cognitive behavioral therapy, no matter how many hours you spend talking to somebody about that or practicing resiliency techniques, there are moments in time when something else happens and it will set you back a bit.
Yeah.
And I've had that lately during the season of Lent. Sure enough, it's a lot to hold. And being the person in my family that said it had to stop is also a really weird place to exist in. Because when I reported at the age of 16, by the encouragement of my high school boyfriend at the time, because he was watching what it would do to me. Like the sitting and rocking when you're overwhelmed and stressed. I had that going on. Just when I have a PTSD episode, like I'm physically in the room, but I absolutely would love to have a conversation with you, but I can't.
Yeah.
Because there's this invisible wall that gets built, and I'm stuck. And it takes a lot to get back through. So I've done a lot of work, and I've spent many hours in counseling offices and all of those things, and well practiced, but received new news this season, and it still sends me in orbit because I know who I am, having been bold enough at the age of 16 to say something to stop anybody else from being harmed. But it didn't fix it. It didn't take away the experience. It didn't take away the abuse. It didn't take away the pain. It did not take away the fact that my body, and I've said this jokingly, I'm a polar bear. Because my body's response is very much what we saw in the film. I do not overeat. I'm not an overeater. I'm an undereater. And my body, everything that I eat, my body thinks it's starving, so it holds on to. And when I look in the mirror, it is a reminder to me that which I've been through. Now, I say all of that to also say that in all of the support systems that I have individually, I have people that remind me all the time, But Shannon Marie, you are resilient. I don't always feel resilient, friends, at all, especially when I'm teaching women in the Bible. And when I teach women in the Bible, I teach about Bathsheba.
Yeah.
And I teach about Tamar, David's daughter. And so every single semester, I know that's going to be part of it again. And I willingly do it. One, their stories are very important, but two, the number of students that have found safe space in my care because I practice trauma-informed ministry and education. I've been told several times, I wish that had never happened to you. And I say thank you, but it has made me who I am. And it's not always fun. It's not always happy and jolly and all those things, but it really has created an individual who desires so much for no other human to experience what I have. So,
You used a term right there. Well, number one, thank you for sharing.
yeah.
But you used a term right there called trauma-informed ministry.
Yeah. How many?
What exactly can you? I know what you're talking about, but can you
Yeah.
explain that a little more? What does it entail?
So,
Does it mean we all have to go be psychologists
no,
and counselors and
no,
therapists?
no, not at all. I wish, though, we all should. UMO's psychology department would just be overwhelmed with the number of students that would come
Yeah.
in.
We could start a whole
No,
new school.
that's true.
So, Shannon Marie, we've come to the portion known as Shannon Marie's. Today, what are we? Ængh?
I am in a place in space right now that I am a human doing. I know that we were created to be human beings. I know that God rested on the seventh day and Jesus went out into the wilderness. And I know. But I'm in that place in space where there is more that I can possibly be doing at all times. And I've totally become a human doing.
And you know what your van would say to that? Yep.
I know.
So what do we do in these moments?
Well, it's really interesting that this is the question that's being asked because I also realize that my life is very seasonal. Church is very seasonal. I know that we just came out of the Lenten season, like we talked about with Jonathan and Holy Week, and I'm going to stand on the idea that Holy Week is busier than Advent.
Yeah. Because it's so much packed into 1 week.
Yeah.
Instead of spread out over 1 month.
Well, and in my world, you get Palm Sunday, then I have a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday thing that I'm doing at noon in Farmville all the time. Then Thursday night, I really want to be doing a Good Friday service, which I did this year. Thanks, Dennis Pay, for inviting me and all the other United Methodist clergies to come to your church. And it was a beautiful Good Friday service. Dark, dreary.
Tenebrae.
I mean, like, they take and actually take a piece of steel on steel after all the readings take place. I mean, And I will also say, Dennis, thank you very much for warning me that was going to happen before it happened, because that would have not turned out well for me. But anyway, so it's a very, very, very busy time. Then you get Easter, and Easter, I had this morning, this year, I was the speaker at the sunrise service, which was beautiful because I just told Mary Magdalene's story, which is easy for me because I teach it. But then you have Easter service. It's a lot. And now we are within weeks of finishing classes.
Mm-hmm.
Like in 2 weeks, we're done.
Yep.
And I have 2 classes I teach. One class is going very well because I've changed the way all that happens. So I'm very happy with the way grades are going in that class. And it feels a lot less for me because as much as I love grading papers, I don't love grading AI. So we've moved away from that just to kind of make sure that they are actually learning the material. But I do have a second class where 2 of my students have turned in none of the 5 assignments. And we're not talking like little assignments. We're talking big 8 to 10 page paper kind of assignments. Yeah. And it's because it is a choose your own adventure class that's the case. So I just feel very overwhelmed. Now, when this comes out, because this will come out the 29th of April is the air date for it. I would have gone away because I leave later this week to go to Merle Fest. First time I've been, known about it for years. Guys, I cannot wait. Allison Krauss and Union Station are going to be there. Old Crow Medicine Show. Mm-hmm. Jim Lauderdale. There's several Celtic-y groups that are going to be there. I'm so stinking excited. I've taken vacation time for it. I'm going to be not responsive to things during that time. You've
been talking about this for a year.
I know I have because we've been planning it for a year. And the other thing that's beautiful is Sunday is, this weekend in Farmville is the Dogwood Festival. And the Dogwood Festival, they have a joint Sunday service at the gazebo that all the churches come together and our congregations come together and they all worship in one place. Well, I didn't have to find a substitute for church that day for my people. I won't be there, but I really need not to be there because the human doing this is overwhelming me.
Yeah.
And it's okay because it's seasonal. Because I'll have this summer to pause. We'll have this summer, we'll get to record and get ahead on pods instead of, what are we doing when?
Like
and
when
where.
We started.
Yeah, absolutely. We can get ahead on our pods. We can get ahead on, I can go ahead and get whatever I need updated for the fall class figured out, get that syllabus in line, get it ready to go. And then I don't even think about it. Yeah, human doing. And I know there's a lot of you out there that are human doings.
Thank you.
So, trauma-informed ministry, first of all, is giving a flying flip and understanding that in your sanctuary on a Sunday, you will have multiple individuals that have experienced some sort of ACEs in their life.
Yeah. It
is understanding. Let's do David and Bathsheba real quick. How many times have you heard that story?
A gajillion.
Gajillion. Vacation Bible School.
Yeah.
Taught in Vacation Bible School. Why they were teaching that Vacation Bible School, I don't understand, because quite frankly, according to biblical text, she is going through a purification ritual after her menses, which is the most fertile time of a woman's life. She's going through this purification ritual for herself. Good Jewish girl. She knows the rules. And somebody sees her and makes her an object of desire, to the point that they go get her and bring them into their home. She is married. She has a husband. There is a cover up. Her husband even carries his death sentence out to the general of the army. We don't tell that part of the story, but there's this whole thing where she, for a large part of the rest of the story, is known as the wife of Uriah. She's not referred to as Bathsheba by name until she's getting Solomon, her other son, to become king after David. So Bathsheba did not willingly go to David's house. But hallelujah, we can make some music about it.
See what you did.
Thank you. So trauma-informed ministry is taking a moment to educate your own selves as clergy, as lay leaders, if you're a leader in a church, a Sunday school teacher, if you have any teaching kind of role, and taking the material, being able to go through with a fine-tooth comb and kind of say, oh, wait, the Bible really does say that.
Yeah.
But as you're presenting the material, we don't remove the material.
Yeah.
But we approach the material in a way that provides resources for those who may have experiences they've never told anyone, or somebody that has experienced it. You let them know ahead of time, this is what's coming.
Content warning.
Content warning. Absolutely. And I have to content warn all over women in the Bible. Because if you start to look at their stories, it is content warning after content warning that is necessarily all throughout.
Sorry, I'm having a difficult time with my mic stand is not.
Is she loosey-goosey?
She is. I'll fix it before
Make
the
her
next.
tight.
Well, it's this stem. I got to pull it out and whatnot. I'll fix it all after.
Oh, bless
It's
it.
right here.
I see it. It's wiggly wiggly.
Yep. So I'm sorry, listeners and viewers alike.
It's okay. Also, sometimes it's a lot to have to explain to people anyway. So.
Also, in trauma-informed ministry, if somebody comes to you and you're clergy or lay leader or whatever and says, hey, I have experienced this type of abuse, or hey, I'm really going through a depressive season and I need a counselor.
One of the things that absolutely sends me in orbit, this would be an for me.
This would be an and a 15 combined.
Yeah. Is somebody who says, give it God. When I, at the age of 16, told my parents what had happened to me, my mama and daddy did exactly what I would have expected them to do. And that's called our clergyman and said, hey, my daughter needs somebody to talk to. And I went to his house and I sat in his formal living room. He was married and had a son. And I sat in his living room and I told him the story, and he said, well, Jesus will just help you through it. And God loves his little children. And so God will take care of it for you.
That's not a helpful statement.
No. I do not disagree with anything that was said.
Yeah.
But in that moment in time, what should have been advised to my parents, because I was still a minor, one is, in the state of North Carolina, my friends, every single adult over the age of 18, you are a mandatory reporter.
Which means?
If you receive information that a minor has been harmed sexually, etc., you are required to report that.
Yes.
To Child Protective Services. You are required. Now, I understand the family shame. What was it going to? And now that I now know my family story, I realized what was happening was more than just to me, that this was going to take a whole lot of people in a whole lot of directions. But honey, my mom and dad, I love clergy people, but we are not educated well enough. Even this divvy people were educated enough in pastoral care and counseling to be able to sit beside somebody and walk with them through an abuse situation.
Well, and going back to that video, I remember that was one thing your friend Melissa, who was presenting everything.
Who's back in the country right now? Shout out, Melissa.
She told us, she's like, we're not putting these on so that way you become an automatic overnight expert of ACEs. But this way you can be informed of what to notice and to see in your congregations. That way when somebody does bring the story, when you do notice these ACEs coming up in your congregation, both in young children and in adults, you can properly resource things out to where they need to be.
Exactly. And honestly, I did not need to be in that clergyman's living room.
Yeah.
Because first of all, 16-year-old young girl, sexually assaulted, is sitting with a man alone in a living room. Should not have ever been there. But nothing happened to me. Please don't hear that. But I should not have been put in that circumstance. That's just bad. That's just poor life choice. But I should have been in a counselor's office.
Yep.
A trauma and I don't even care at that point. Just put me in some counselor's office. Anybody, I don't care. Just put me in somebody else's office that can teach me resiliency techniques so that it wasn't when I was 30 years old that I finally did work on that. My husband and I, we were in couples counseling. We did couples counseling and that kind of stuff along the way. But it was not until I was 30. I'm turning 9 and I'm abused. I don't tell my parents until I'm 16. And then I'm 30 years old before I actually sit down with a counselor to do work on that part of my life. My body carried that trauma.
21 years.
21 years. That's a lot to undo, friends. And it's part of the reason why I want us to be so aware of these things that happen, right? I want churches to put in place safe sanctuaries practices. That is something in the in the United Methodist Church, we have our own safe sanctuaries, policies, and trainings, and those kinds of things. But I also am able to teach safe sanctuaries to other congregations and help other congregations begin to work through what those practices look like. So this is an offering to any of our church brothers and sisters that are listening to this. Part of what I can offer to you, especially through my grant, is to come alongside you and help you develop safe sanctuary practices. Rules like 2 unrelated people in a room. Are there windows on doors? Do you need a floater? How do you change a child's diaper? But not only that, safe sanctuaries goes beyond just the child, but also goes toward the older people in our congregations. And how are we even aware if we go to visit? So if we have a visiting team and they go to somebody who's homebound, how can they pick up if there's financial issues? If they are food insecure because somebody else is holding that over them. There's just certain things that we talk about in the safe sanctuaries gamut. That's more than just a nursery school kind of a circumstance. But we lay out plans on how to care for others. What do you do if something happens? How do you report? What's your chain of command for report in all of that? Now, in the state of North Carolina, All of us are required to report when we receive information like that. But that's part of trauma-informed ministry as well.
Yeah.
How do we care for the least, the last, the lost, the lonely, the littles,
The fifth L.
the littles at heart?
Yeah.
How can we be aware of those things we see around us? And what are the right resources to reach out for others? What is your local child advocacy center?
Yeah.
What is your local child protective services number? Who are those people that you can lean into? Do you have counselors in your world that are trauma informed in their own practice to be able to walk alongside? Because there's a whole lot of young women and men that have gone through these things that need somebody to talk to.
And something that just has continued coming to my mind in this conversation as we begin to wrap is just that whole idea of breaking the cycle and how true that really is. Because if we think about, like, science has proven that stress frays DNA strands, and that gets passed down from generation to generation, and generational trauma is real. But the resiliency piece comes back in and helps break the cycle. So that way, when a child does experience something hard and tough, they can deploy, I think that, or employ those resiliency techniques, and they can do, quote unquote, do the work in order to not live in that fight or flight all the time. So that way, when it comes time to have children, you're not passing down frayed DNA, you're passing down healthy genetics.
Strong.
And it's literally scientifically breaking cycles, not just in the way that you parent or the way that you treat your children, but you have scientifically handed them a healthy genetic code.
Yeah.
And just how important it is to break the cycles. And as clergy people and leaders in churches, we are responsible for helping people find those resources to do that work. I hate when people are like, "Do you give pastoral counseling?" So, well, no. Number one, no, because I'm not a counselor, so I can't use that phrase. But no, I do not. But if that's what you need, I'll help you find it.
Yeah.
And knowing that I can't fix all of it, we can't fix
And
it all,
knowing
but we can help point
and
you.
knowing, but can you sit and talk to somebody for a couple of sessions?
Yeah, I'll
Yes.
listen to you all
But
day long.
when do you refer out?
Yeah.
Not a single one of none of us walking around with a Master of Divinity, solo, our only credential is a Master of Divinity. None of us have been appropriately trained in that mental health work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
We are not licensed counselors.
Yeah. After a couple listening sessions, we're gonna get you the right
We're going
resource.
to get you somebody else. That's right. So heavy.
Yeah, heavy. Thank you for all the sharing and for sitting in the heaviness, and
Yeah.
to our mustard seeds.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening. And if you made it this far in the conversation, whatever is welled up inside of you, feel it.
Yeah.
But again, if there's anything we can do to help you find the resources that you need to build resiliency, or if you know folks who need it, feel free to reach out and let us help you find the places that you can go and get healing.
Now it's time for Will It Mustard? Gavin,
Not excited.
what do we have today for our mustard segment other than some good standard mustard, not a sponsor?
We were at a loss the other day.
We
For viewers, you can see what Shannon Marie's holding up. We were at a loss the other day for what to try, and one of our fantastic coworkers, Jennifer Merritt,
Yeah, thank you,
over
Jennifer.
in marketing.
Maybe.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you at least for helping us with content.
That's right.
But Jennifer gave us cowtails because that's what she had. So we have cowtails that we're going to mustard today.
Now,
And
I want you to know I love caramel.
do you like cowtails as a candy in general?
Do these have the creamy center things?
Yeah.
No. I love caramel. Caramel.
Caramel.
I love butterscotch. I love toffee. But this creamy junk that's in the middle of
That's
this
what
thing,
makes it.
it is disgusting.
That's what makes it.
I'm not okay with that. That's okay because I've
Go ahead and
left
slap
it.
some mustard on this thing.
Oh my gosh. Jeez, a pink man.
I'm not excited about this. I love cowtails, but I'm not excited about. Oh, it's not shaking up.
Oh, shoot a monkey. Guys, for those of you who are listening, it was juicy when it came out. It wasn't mustard. It was mustard juice.
Make sure you shake your mustard, folks.
Oh gosh. It's a little dollop, just like a Dairy Queen. A Dairy Queen cone. I'll put a little dollop on the top.
All right, so
Oh gosh, geez.
my initial thought is no, this is not gonna mustard.
I don't know anymore.
I love a cowtail by itself, but here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
It wasn't deadly.
Did the mustard and the cream just complement one another?
I'm afraid so. Golly. This is kind of like that Reese peanut butter cup thing we did.
Yeah.
We're like, no, it absolutely won't. But everybody that has tried it is like,
I'm not gonna.
I don't know about that.
I don't want any more mustard. I just want to enjoy the taste of the cowtail.
Well, I'm gonna add a little more mustard because I think it's actually okay. Oh, but cowtail's disgusting. I love caramel.
I love cowtails.
Ugh. No thanks.
My child, Moo Moo.
Moo Moo. Love her. My child say the same thing. All right. Gavin.
I'm chewing.
I know you are, but I have to ask the question.
Yes.
Gavin, will it mustard?
Unfortunately, it does.
Will
I do this again? No. Mm-hmm. But will it? Yes.
It will mustard. So, friends, I do want to say that we are open to suggestions. Things that we're not allergic to, or things that, don't adversely affect our digestive system.
Yep.
But if y'all have suggestions for Will It Mustard, we'd love to see if you make a comment in our social media post, or even comment if you're watching this on the YouTubes. Make a comment. Let us know.
If you know us personally and you text us.
Yeah, text us or email us at the school.
Yeah.
I mean, let us know. We'd love to hear what it is that you all might be interested in seeing us mustard.
Yeah.
So, I guess all that's left to say is love,
peace,
and chicken grease
all day long.
Bye, guys.